Next, one of our very favorite speakers, Paul Miller, is going to come up and talk to us about skill-based play is good. Paul.
Thank you, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, friends, and enemies, I suppose I will include as well. Skill-based play. Let us begin. Skill-based play. Skill-based play is good. That is my title of my speech. That is the premise. Now, to work through this and explain it, we have to explain why exactly play is good. Really, all you have to do is dig deep into your heart from when you were a child, whether it was in the urban setting, a suburban setting, or the country setting. You know in your heart that play is, in fact, good. But let's take a more academic approach. Play. What is play? Well, play comes from the Old English, from plagia, meaning to exercise. Well, the National Institute of Play would define play as exercise or activity for amusement or recreation. I don't think there's any debate that play is, in fact, good. But what is skill-based play? Well, skill-based play is the manipulation of skill toys for recreation or amusement. Manipulation, the skillful use of hands. Mastery. Skill toy, a generic term for a specific prop used in an object manipulation routine. Basically, it's stuff. What kind of stuff? Well, things like balls, sticks, rings, string, that sort of thing. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of exactly how you manipulate these props and what exactly these are. Well, we'll start with balls. These are juggling balls. Obviously, they're used for juggling. We also have contact juggling balls, and we have foot bags. Now, some of you might look at this and say, foot bags, that's a hacky sack. And you are correct, but a hacky sack is a registered trademark of Whammo. The kick bag is also a derivative of Janzi, which is a Chinese toy, which looks like this, also called a shuttlecock, and it uses feathers and a counterweight, but it's manipulated very much the same way. As far as sticks, we have things that you twirl, like batons, or spinning staff, which is also very much related to the martial art bow, which is used to open up a can of whoop-ass. If you put a flag on the end of your stick, then it's flag spinning or color guard, unless, of course, it's done in the winter. Then it's done indoors, and it's called winter guard. We also have flower sticks, devil sticks, and devil sticks. And devil sticks actually does not connotate any sort of evil sort of entity. It actually comes from a Greek prefix and root word diablo, meaning dia, across, and bolo, to toss or throw. So it is not an evil thing, it's rather a stick to toss or throw. Now, for stick-like things, we have clubs. We have wooden clubs, which are for club spinning. These are also called Indian spinning clubs. And we have juggling clubs. And they're also called pins or bowling pins, but as you can see, juggling clubs are not bowling pins. They're not even the same color. As far as juggling, we also have juggling boxes. Now, these were made famous by W.C. Fields, who was a vaudevillian and started out as a juggler. Ringy thingies. I classify things that are round and small and that can be juggled or manipulated, such as juggling rings. Also, spinning plates or spinning bowls. This was a very popular skill-based activity in the 20s and 30s. A lot of times this was actually done to a music score by this guy, Mr. Aram Kachatorium, who wrote the song Saber Dance, which was later adopted by Pee Wee Herman, and although they look the same, they are not the same person. You might recognize this as the Frisbee. Well, it's actually a flying disc, and it's used for freestyle manipulations. Frisbee, once again, is a registered trademark of Whammo. Lucky them, they got two good ones. This is a gyro ring, which is a ring, and it's got a couple of rings around it and can be manipulated as well. String and rope. Well, there's lasso spinning, or lasso twirling, which was made famous, of course, by Wonder Woman. We also have poi, which is extremely enjoyable to watch if you light it on fire and do it in the dark. There's also the yo-yo, the Chinese yo-yo, and the diablo, which is sometimes referred to as a Chinese yo-yo, although you can see they are, in fact, different things. Once again, diablo, whenever I type it on the computer, I always get that red line underneath because the computer thinks I'm trying to spell the Spanish word for devil, but once again, this is not the same thing. We also have spinning tops and astrojacks, which is kind of a neat combination of ball and string that can be used as manipulation. Not to be outdone by the Japanese, we have the Japanese kendama, which is a ball, a string, and a stick. And there's a European version, which is the cup and ball, and Native Americans have a version where they use elk toes, moose hide, and a stick and sinew, and even some cultures use dried squash. This is an ocelado, and this is a rhythm toy that's used in Africa, and comprised, again, of balls and string. The list goes on and on. But what I want to suggest to you is that each one of these props has a community around it, such as juggling. The juggling community has a number of associations, they have a number of publications, and they have purveyors of fine equipment, which I do by myself. So, if juggling is a skill-based manipulation, and it's done for recreation, and it's good, the problem is, nobody has ever needed balls to be juggled. It's just, yeah, sorry. So, why is skill-based play good? I will give you 3 reasons. Skill-based play is active, it is social, and it is practical. Let's start with active. Active, it's exercise, it's fitness. You have to get up and do it. With more and more opportunities to sit in front of a screen and be entertained and amused, we are growing overweight and unfit as a culture. Skill-based play makes you get up, makes you move. It's also a wonderful alternative for when your friends are making inappropriate choices. Also, social. Well, obviously, skill-based play is something you can do with groups of people. You can do by yourself. It's a great way to entertain and make new friends. It also fills you with a self of confidence, a sense of self-confidence. And it's also the very definition, skill-based play is the very definition of perseverance. What more could we want from an activity? It's also practical. Skill-based play. Skill-based toys, rather, or skill-based play, which uses skill toys. They can fit in your pocket or in a small bag. They're very easy to transport. They're adaptable to almost any space, and there's very small setup time to get into it or get out of it. So it's low barrier to activity, let's say. Also, it's green. The props are simple. The resources are simple. It doesn't require a lot of energy. The value of the prop is imparted by the user. So, to conclude, skill-based play is active, it's social, and it's practical. Active, social, practical is good. Skill-based play is good. Thank you.